Hello. Today's video is going to be about why I don't wear makeup anymore and why I stopped wearing makeup. It was about 2 years ago when I stopped wearing makeup. I was out of the stuff I usually used, so I went down to the corner store to get some stuff, and I only bought like 3 things, like some mascara and some powder concealer, the kind that's supposed to make it look like you're not wearing makeup even though you actually are. It's supposed to make it look like your actual skin even though your actual skin doesn't look like that. And like some eyebrow pencil. And as I was walking back to my car and I had this little tiny bag in my hand, I was like, man, I just spent like $40 or close to 50 on just 3 little things. And so I said to myself, do I really need this? Is this something that's like totally necessary for me to have? Or have I just been very successfully marketed to in order to make me believe that I need all this stuff? So after that, I just decided I'm not gonna buy any more of this stuff. I don't need it. I mean, men do not wear makeup, and men are just fine, you know? Nobody judges men based on their appearance. Men are judged based on the quality of their character. Sometimes they're judged on how much money they have, which is really not fair either. And they're more judged for who they are. They're really not judged for how they look. Very rarely will you see a man come like into a room and everyone looks at his face and judges him based on his face. But when a woman enters a room, a lot of time people are focused on how she looks. That's just how we're socialized in our culture, unfortunately, to look at women. So I started wearing makeup when I was 14, and that was the age excuse me, that was the age that my mom deemed technically appropriate for me to start wearing makeup. I really don't think age has anything to do with it. I think it comes down to 2 things. It comes down to, number one, interest in the opposite sex, and number two, this cultural, disappointment and disapproval of our own bodies as women. For some reason, that's like this weird, like, bonding thing with women in our society, is like saying, oh, I hate this about myself, or I hate that. And I totally don't want to bond with other women over things like that. I would much rather bond with people, men or women in general, over things that we have in common, things that we believe in, things that we are moving towards, ways that we're trying to grow. Not over that I wish my hair was different, or I've got my skin is a certain way. It's just so weird. So so I started wearing makeup when I was 14, and I did start getting interested in boys around that time. But what's really weird about that is that why should interest in the opposite sex mean that I have to start changing myself or making myself be different than something I already am? It set me up. I think it sets young girls up in general to think that, well, if I want to be attractive to the opposite sex, if I want to get attention from the opposite sex, if I want to be desired by the opposite sex, who I am and what I am isn't good enough. I have to change myself. I have to make myself be different. I have to make myself look different. Instead of having confidence in who we are, what we like, what we don't like, I wish the focus was put on, well, if you're interested in boys, starting to get interested in the opposite sex, let's start thinking about who you are as a person. What's your personality like? What things are you interested in? What kind of things do you enjoy? making the journey to self-discovery is something important, but I feel like the journey to self-discovery has been totally put aside for surface decoration. I think it's unfortunate for a lot of young women that the focus immediately becomes on how do you look instead of what do you think, what do you feel, what are your ideas, what are your thoughts, what are your opinions. And boys are encouraged to think about these things, ask these types of things of themselves, but girls, no, girls are just shut down into just being these empty shells and just focused on how we look. So it's a little bit, sometimes it's a little bit difficult for me, like going in public places, like going to the store, or of course I go to church all the time, so I see people there all the time. I don't wear makeup. But sometimes when I'm going to other places in public, I kind of still have the instinct sometimes to want to like cover up my zits, or I used to color my hair. I used to dye my hair red a lot. And sometimes I still think about it, but I ask myself, why would I want to do that? This is my hair. This is the hair God gave me. There's no reason why I should want to change it. Although I still do, I like red hair on people. I look pretty good with red hair, but it's just something that I don't need. And the cosmetics companies, well, they've done a very, very good job of marketing to women, to young girls. I started paying attention to cosmetics commercials about a year ago. I started listening to the words. I started analyzing the commercials as they played out. Now the worst is like if you watch QVC or HSN and then they're putting makeup on women, and they have them sit in a chair and then they'll put their makeup on and then they'll show them, and then they'll split the screen between a before and after. And of course there's a big difference. Of course they look different because they've got stuff on their face. But the question is, do they look better? Are they better people? And the answer is no, they just look different, but we're marketed to in such a way that, I mean, they do a really good job of marketing. That's why they're on TV. That's why they're paid for it. They do a really good job of making us think, yeah, I actually do. I really could use that product. I mean, maybe it would make my eyes pop or be more noticeable or whatever, or fill in my eyebrows. So I've made a list of words, excuse me, that you might hear when you're watching a commercial for makeup. And actually, I like to refer to it as cosmetics because I don't like the word makeup, nor do I like the word dress up. Because that word up, there's an implied meaning that it's making you better. It's moving you up. Putting something on your face, putting certain clothes on your body, it doesn't make you any better than who you already are, than who God created you as you are. This is the face I was born with. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of God's creation, so I'm not going to pretend to be ashamed. And I have 2 nieces. I love them. I'm having a moment here. Yes, INTJs, we do get emotional about things that we really care about. I just want to say, for the record, my nieces are 5 and 3. I love them more than anything. I want them to see a woman. When they get a little bit older, I know that they're going to ask me questions like about, you know, girly things and about makeup, and I just want them to know that I want them to see me as a confident, happy woman who's happy with who I am, satisfied with how I look, not aiming to please a whole bunch of people with how I look, because that's impossible. There's a show on A&E called Married at First Sight. It's in its 2nd season. It's a very interesting social experiment. And these two people, of course, nobody sees each other before they get married. Well, there were these two people, Jacqueline and Ryan. The first time Ryan saw Jacqueline, he was like, yeah, she's hot. I really like her. Well, the first time Jacqueline saw Ryan, she was like, ugh, I'm just not physically attracted to him at all. But she, of course, she didn't say that because she didn't want him to feel bad. You're like, hey, you're ugly. So after a while of getting to know each other, he grew on her, and she actually grew to be very attracted to him. And so they were talking about the very first day they met, and Ryan was like, yeah, I thought you were just totally awesome, and you were so beautiful, and I was just, I was like, yeah, they picked the right person for me. And Jacqueline was like, well, to be honest, I wasn't really physically attracted to you at first, but you grew on me, and now I really like you. And Ryan was like, well, this mug ain't for everybody. And that really stuck with me. I think that was it was just a very insightful and humorous thing to say. And so I think that's a cool attitude to have, actually, because not everybody's face is for everybody. Like, you're not going to look attractive to everybody. You're not going to look beautiful to everybody, no matter how much makeup you put on or how attractive other people rate you. For example, I don't think Brad Pitt is cute at all. I just don't see it. He reminds me of a little wish troll that you used to have on top of pencils. And Channing Tatum, I just I just don't see it. To me, it's just no attraction there. So, I mean, you can be like the hottest guy according to Time magazine, but not everyone's going to find you attractive. So, back to what I was saying about the makeup. You watch these commercials. The commercials or the marketing language that you're going to hear when you talk about a makeup company talking about a woman's face that does not have cosmetics on or that does not have their skincare products on her face, the words that you will hear are flawed, imperfect, tired, dull, spotted, uneven, or blemished. Sure, there are other words that they use, but they're all negative words. Now, the words that you will hear whenever they're describing your face with their cosmetics products on or with their skincare line on, or really just any woman on any show where she gets a makeover, these are the words you're going to hear once she gets her makeover and once she gets makeup put on her face, and probably her hair done too. The words you will hear are flawless, perfect, youthful, bright, even, corrected, polished, professional, put together, refined, or basically just better. And they've chosen these words very carefully, and they're very effective at, I mean, if you hear the word, someone calls you or implies that you're imperfect or flawed, I mean, it's really not pleasant. It's meant to be hurtful. But if they say, well, if you want to be perfect and flawless, all you have to do is buy this $10 bottle of whatever, or put this powder on your face, and then everyone's going to say, wow, you're so amazing, you look great, you're so polished, or you look so much younger, or you look so rested, or you look great. It's a very easy trap to fall into psychologically and emotionally, because if you really believe that you need cosmetic products on your face, and then you try to go somewhere in public without cosmetics on your face, you're going to feel horrible. You really will feel horrible about yourself if you're really stuck in that mentality and you really believe it. I know, because the first few months of not wearing makeup after I had worn it for a long time, it was really hard because I thought, oh man, people are staring at me. They're gonna think I'm ugly. They're probably looking at my skin. They're probably thinking, whoa, what is that lady doing out of her house? Not wearing any makeup. She needs to go back inside. um, but it's so much better now, and I I don't want to be I don't want people to be attracted to me for stuff I put on my face. I want them to see my face. I really want them to, uh, well, they don't have to like me. If they don't like me, too bad. I am who I am. I'm not going to make any apologies for that. Although I do try every day to be better, personal growth and spiritual growth. It's something I focus on and think about all the time. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to become a better person by putting stuff on my face. It just doesn't work that way. But the cosmetics companies have made bukus of money because they've convinced you that it is so. So, if you want to not wear makeup, I encourage you to be yourself and focus on being who you are, discovering who you are, discovering what you enjoy, discover the kind of people you like to be around, and focus on that. And don't put so much emphasis on how you look, because uh, looks go away. Looks fade when you get older. And I don't know how women deal with it actually. Like if your focus is on your beauty and everyone tells you you're so beautiful when you're younger, and then when you get older and people stop telling you you're beautiful because your face changes, and no matter how much makeup you put on, there's so many things, certain things that makeup just can't cover up, or makeup just can't change, or plastic surgery can't fix. So if you're happy with who you are, then that's not going to matter, because it's all external. What matters is what's in your mind, what's in your heart, and what's in your soul. So those are my thoughts for today. Hope you enjoyed.